Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the new Triple Axel Hitmontop in the Open Ultra League. You need to fully excel this Pokemon, even then it doesn't even get to 2500 CP, it only starts at like 2438 here, so you can even best buddy it and you're still going to be below that. So, today we're gonna take a look at this one. Let's take a look if this is going to be an upgrade for the Ultra League or not, and how strong this Pokemon actually going to be. And I have to say, I was surprised. I was surprised in a positive way. This Pokemon is actually really cool and I would recommend you to build one. Which is not this thing that I said about like the recent Pokemon that I showcased, where it was like at least like the Heliolisk, which is not really the best meta for it right now. Especially if you take a look at my team right now that I'm playing. Heliolisk had no chance against it, but Hitmontop, for sure, a Pokemon that you should actually build in my opinion, because the Ice-type coverage is going to be amazing in so many situations. For example, you're going to have the Registeel a lot of times around, having the buff option with Triple Axel, having the super effective move with Triple Axel, while also being able to punish other Pokemon with close combat afterwards, after buffing up your attack, is going to be so nice, and I can highly recommend it to you. Yeah, first game, we're going to have now the Registeel sweeping endgame, or Registeel rank 1 as well, which is really nice. It's going to definitely go to town here right now, as they can go for another charge move. We still have a shield left, and the opponent also realizes here right now there is nothing they can do, and we will be able to win this game. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have a Charizard in the lead. Yes, Charizard is the biggest issue for this team. This is something that I can definitely say. Charizard is tricky to play against, and also if you're going to encounter something like a Poliwrath as a Say-Sop, it's going to be a little bit tough as well. But still, we can at least swap out here into our Hitmontop. I'll let one move go through, try to get some extra energy here right now, which is going to be hopefully decent here, so we can just go ahead and go for a full farm down against the opponent's Poliwrath. As they go for another Ice Punch, we can realign at least. But yes, of course, Charizard going to be a little bit tough. There is basically, if you try to build something around Hitmontop, there was always something that is kind of awkward to play against. Here it's definitely the Charizard, but also a little bit tricky can be the Giratina after a while. Here, you're going to see me making an interesting play. I'm going to go into the Registeel, and I'm gonna use no shield here, because I feel like my best bet here right now is just to tank the energy, swap into my Hitmonchan, and try to farm them all the way down. Not sure if this is going to actually work here, but we wanna see the Dragon Claw coming through. We can go for one Ice Punch, but it's going to be a CMP tie. I'm going to have to shield another time here right now, as they still have a shield left. Let's see if they're going to use their shield against me here right now. You see the Ice Punch coming through. We're gonna get the knockout, and it's going to be a Swampert in the back, and this is sadly not something that we can really beat with this team. Like literally, our lead had basically nowhere to go. Our Registeel had nothing to really play against, so it was kind of awkward, as we're going to here kind of get hard counted as well again. We're going to have the Giratina against us, but actually Hitmonchan, as you're going to see right now, is actually not that bad against this Pokemon. We have a fairly decent rank Hitmonchan here. I think it's like a rank 4 as a Shadow, which is really nice. So we can actually tank this extra Dragon Claw right now with a 1 HP left, which is really important, as now we can still go for another Ice Punch and get them a little bit lower and put the opponent into a range where I might be even able to completely farm them down with Registeel. But I make a little bit of a misplay here right now, as we're going to have a CMP tie. They're actually running Ancient Power, which is really bad for us, because we would have been able to farm them all the way down. But you see me here still knocking them out, because I wanted to get rid of this Pokemon. And let's see what we're going to face in the back here. We're going to face a Gliscor. And this Pokemon, of course, is running Aerial Ace. It is not the recommended moveset on this Pokemon, but it's going to be even worse. Let's take a look at this one real quick. We're actually going to be able to reach another Triple Axel here right now, which is going to be amazing. But of course, it's going to be even more against us here right now, as we can go ahead and I thought of baiting, like letting the move go through here. You see me like literally just deciding last second to go for the shield. And of course it's going to be the Aerial Ace. And let's take a look of the next one going to be at least the Earthquake now. Of course it's not, it's going to be the Aerial Ace. Maybe they don't run Earthquake, maybe they're running Night Slash and the Aerial Ace together, which I actually thought of doing for this team. I actually thought of using the Gliscor instead of the lead of Registeel here right now. And of course it's going to be the Earthquake coming through, so this game was totally going to be winnable if it was just going a little bit more in directions. Like those things where it's like, yeah, if you call the bait, you're fine. If you don't call the bait, you're gonna go down, and here we were not able to do this. But here we're going to have a great lead for us. We're going to see the Cresselia against our Registeel, allowing us to go for a Zap Cannon here in order to get some damage in, and one of the worst possible Pokemon is swapping in against us. It's going to be the Talonflame. So we're going to go ahead and go for a Zap Cannon, get the shield advantage, and get the attack drop onto the opponent, as we can move into our Chan here, which can take a Flame Charge, which is really nice that they didn't go for the Brave Bird, but I definitely need to get some damage onto the opponent here right now. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go for an Ice Punch against the opponent. This will be able to get a decent amount of damage against them if it would land, but it doesn't land, so we're actually still going to be able to get a close combat off against them. This is going to do more damage, but still not enough to knock them out, but they're going to decide to lock themselves into the Cresselia for whatever reason. This is going to be amazing for us, because now we can keep a shield advantage for our Hitmontop in the back. Hitmontop with a shield advantage is deadly in the Ultra League. So we will be able to reach a Zapkin here against the opponent, get the attack drop against them, like easily survive another charge move here from the opponent, which is going to be another future sight. And we can even overfarm if we want to, but I'm gonna go ahead and go for the Focus Blast before they can reach another charge move, as this is going to be enough to knock them out already. We're gonna see now the Warring coming in, and I can go to my Hitmontop and go straight for the close combat here, which will get hopefully the knockout against the opponent, and it does get the knockout as the opponent going to decide to forfeit this game. Let's take a look at the next game coming up. We're going to have the Registeel against the Haxorus. Horrible lead for us. We have to swap out into our Hitmonchan, and our backline is still a little bit weak against the opponent here. As you're going to see the Cresselia swooping in, which is not ideal at all, as we cannot do anything here really in this matchup. They're going to go for most likely a Moonblast, which is, no, they're going to go for the Grass Knot, because I want to get the full farm down here, which is definitely a smart decision. I'm going to go ahead and go for a close combat here, which does more damage than an Ice Punch for sure. But we will now get them into range for just one Zap Cannon from our Registeel. But of course, we're still in such a bad spot. We're still going to have to deal with the Haxorus, which can debuff me, which is going to definitely be an awkward matchup as well for our Hitmontop in the back. But let's see what we can do here. They're going to go for a Moonblast, and they're going to go ahead and go for most likely a no shield against the incoming Focus Blast. Let's take a look at this one. We're going to see the Focus Blast coming through. We're going to do some decent damage. And we get out now the Haxorus, which is going to go for a charge move, which is going to have the Night Slash. And this is our win con. Because they're not running Earthquake, we're going to have now all of a sudden a very decent chance of winning this game, because we can go for the buff with our Hitmontop. Triple Axel going to go through here right now, and we're going to shield up this move from the opponent, which is luckily going to be the Dark Pulse. They're actually not going to go for the debuffing move, which would have been their play here for sure. And they can go for a full farm down, allowing me to go for a Triple Axel. And now pay attention to this one. We're going to see that we're going to get the attack boost and the shield, but I'm going to use the shield here as well. If the opponent did not go for this charge move, they would have won this game, because they would have been able to farm me down before I would have got to a next Triple Axel. But because they didn't do this, I'm now going to be able to outspeed the opponent to a charge move with our Registeel here right now, and we will be able to win this one. So it's not always the best thing to do to go for basically the charge move. Doesn't always help you out all the time, because you're going to give the opponent a free fast move in, which is definitely not ideal for you. But here we're gonna see now the matchup against the Deoxys. Seems to be a core breaker. Depends, really. Usually they're running Rock Slide, of course. With our luck, they're going to run Thunderbolt here. Maybe I guess like nowadays you could actually argue of going for Thunderbolt as well, so I wouldn't even say it's the worst play, but before definitely you would want to run Rock Slide, and I still think Rock Slide is a little bit better than Thunderbolt, but maybe for something like Tapu Fini you kind of want it. But now we're gonna get out the Gust Lord. You can go ahead and let one move go through, which is going to be of course the Dragon Claw, as the other moves would be resisted, but we're gonna now be able to go for an Ice Punch. This Ice Punch is gonna do a ton of damage against the opponent, and gonna get the shield, which is going to be fine, but I know that the opponent could realign anyway, so I'm going to let this move go through, and I will be able to just go ahead, go into my Hitmontop, and get the full farm down here. Trying to get some energy for the late game, going to be amazing for me, as we now going to see the opponent's Mandibuzz coming in, and they're running sadly Air Slash. If they didn't run Air Slash, this would have been such a good matchup for us, but of course it's going to be kind of now an uphill battle, but we have some energy advantage, which is going to be amazing for me, as I can now go ahead, use a shield, the Aerial Ace is coming through, I can go for another Triple Axel, and now I'm going to try to most likely catch a move onto my Registeel here, because Registeel otherwise doesn't really have the best play, and it did work out actually, which I did not expect, but they actually went for the foul play here for whatever reason, so now the opponent is a little bit energy dry. I'm not sure how much energy the Deoxys has, so I'm fairly certain I'm forced to throw here, and like this, I'm going to still keep my shield alive. I still have my Hitmontop here right now, and I only need a few more fast moves to get to a close combat, and this close combat is going to finish up the opponent here right now, and I can now move on to the next game, as we were able to win this one. Next game coming up, we're going to have the Virizion in the lead. Horrible lead for us, but we're going to have two Pokemon with Ice-type coverage in the back, which will have definitely a decent matchup against the Virizion. As you're going to take the first Leaf Blade from the opponent, I can go for one Ice Punch here right now, which is going to take a ton of damage onto the opponent, but they're going to decide to shield shield this move up, and we see the Drifblim coming in. I can go for one Ice Punch, but if I can go for another one, I will be able to force another shield from the opponent or get the knockout, but sadly, I'm just literally dying just before I get to the move, so now I have to deal with it with my Registeel, and they are running Mystical Fire. A move that is definitely very strong in the current meta as well. I'm fairly certain that Drifblim right now is one of the coolest Pokemon to run, because everybody is running Registeel, everybody is running the Virizion, all those Pokemon that are going to be weak to Fire type moves right now, and in general you're not a Fire type Pokemon, which is also kind of nice because there's Tapu Fini around. So I'm fairly certain that Drifblim right now is actually a very cool Pokemon. And speaking of a very cool Pokemon, you're going to see another video later on today where I had an insane win streak with a very spicy Pokemon and a no XL team as well, which is really cool. So definitely stay tuned for that one. Subscribe if you have not already as well, would appreciate it. As you can now see the close combat hitting against the Regirock, we will be able to use a shield against the opponent, and this Focus Blast is coming through. We're going to be able to shield this move up, and we're going to see here the Virizion coming in, which will have to eat this Triple Axel, as we can now go for another one in time, win CMP, get the knockout, and get the win here against the opponent, as Triple Axel Hitmontop is sweeping endgame. 3 more games to go. Let's take a look at this one. We're going to have Giratina. If you might think, oh my god, this is such a bad matchup for me. It's okay actually. While we only do resisted damage against them, we're still going to be able to take the moves from the opponent fairly well, especially if we're going to get some debuffs with our Zap Cannon. And we're going to get one immediately here. And honestly, I kind of thought of swapping out here after this one, because the opponent's already debuffed. I kind of want to go for Ice Punch, but they're just barely not in Ice Punch range, so I decided to go for another one. I should have most likely went for a little bit more energy here first, but the opponent decides to swap out now anyway, and we're gonna go into our Hitmonchan, which can take one Leaf Blade from the opponent, as we will be able to reach the Ice Punch a little bit faster compared to, for example, the Triple Axel on the Hitmontop. So like this, we can go for the Ice Punch here right now. We're gonna do a ton of damage, and I actually can shield this move up and farm them all the way down, keeping the Ice Punch alive for the incoming most likely Dragon Pokemon, their Giratina, and that's going to get the knockout if they're going to let this move go through, which they of course don't. So like this, we're at least gonna get them a little bit lower and most likely even into Zap Cannon range, as we can now definitely still take 2 charge moves, as Shadow Sneak is a horrible charge move, luckily, otherwise Giratina would be too strong anyway. I don't even want to see Giratina stronger. I would like to see, honestly, not gonna lie, I would like to see the other move, like the Shadow Force, buffed a little bit in terms of like damage output or something. So you have like a 90 energy move or something like this, which is going to still do some decent damage, but you have to get there first. So like that would be kind of cool. But you're going to encounter here, by the way, great catch by the opponent here, the Sand Slash from the opponent. But even though they caught here the move, it does not matter. Like it literally does not matter. I will be able to just go ahead and go for the full farm down. Have the Triple Axel stored already. I can still survive a move, I think, onto my Registeel, or I can just swap out and go for the Zap Cannon here, and that's going to get the knockout against the opponent, and we will be able to win this very long game here, as we can move on to the next game. Coming up, Tapu Fini lead. Amazing lead for us. Let's see what they're going to swap into. They're going to swap out into the Registeel, allowing me to go for a Focus Blast first. But like this, I will be able to also go ahead and swap out into one of my fighting type Pokemon in the back. Here, basically, the play was to go for a Focus Blast because either I get a ton of damage and get the farm down with my Hitmontop, or I don't get a ton of damage and I will be able to still go for the close combat here. But turns out I maybe should have went to my other Hitmon, because this one is going to not get the knockout against the opponent, but the other Hitmon would have taken a little bit more damage because it's Shadow, so not sure if this was the right call or the other one. But we're gonna get out now the Talonflame, which is kinda nice for us because we didn't really want to have this Pokemon against our Registeel yet. But I make a mistake. I have literally zero clue why I swapped out of here. Honestly, it does not make any sense at all. Now I'm locked into this matchup. Great job there, man. Literally the worst possible play I could have done, but the opponent stays in for whatever reason and tries to go for a full farm down, which I guess works out well for them. My only play here is to try to go for a full farm down, which does not work out at all for me. So yeah, I kinda threw away this game. Like, there is no lot that I can do about it. I should not have swapped out there for sure, but honestly I don't think I would have been able to win this game either otherwise, so yeah. We're going to be able to at least still go for one Zapcan here against the opponent. Maybe with a debuff I can still get to a move. I get the debuff. Can I get to actually still to the Focus Blast? I think I would speed them. I would have maybe, but yeah, we're going to start directly on the charge move. So we can move on into the final game of today's video. A very easy one, it seems like, because we're going to already see the Melmetal coming in. We're going to be able to swap out. We're going to be able to swap out into our good friend the Hitmontop, and we're going to now hardwall the opponent. We're going to be able to take the double Iron Bash from them, which does do some decent damage, but not really worrying to me right now, as they're going to go for another one as well. They're going to get to them so fast. I'm going to let them even throw another one. Nope, I'm going to go for a close combat first, because this will allow me to get the knockout, and also I can still go for Triple Axel against the incoming Charizard. Maybe should have actually went for the close combat here, would have been most likely the better play to go for, but I'm still gonna get them fairly low, and as long as I'm going to be able to get them low enough that I can knock them out, I should be fine. Let's take a look at this one here right now. We're gonna see the Ice Punch coming through, but honestly, this game might actually have a little bit of a turn here right now. Take a look at what is happening next. We're going to let this move go through, predicting a Dragon Claw, which worked out really well, but the opponent going to decide to swap out. I'm one fast move away to get to another charge move, and I thought, this matchup here, this must be great, right? This is going to be the best matchup ever. I'm going to be able to just go for the Zap Cannon and try to get the knockout against the Venusaur like this, maybe get the farm down afterwards. Let's see. It's going to do some decent damage, and we don't get the debuff. And this was like one of the scenarios where I really needed the debuff. So this is going to be way closer than I expected it to be. Because with the debuff we could have just farmed him down after this one. But like this we're gonna be way too low and they don't get the debuff again. And this is going to change everything because I would have been maybe even able to counter them down and still get to a move. And like this I'm going to swap out. They're going to swap out into the Charizard. I somehow don't get damage from the wing attack, get the knockout here and also get the knockout against the Venusaur with another punch. And that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for later video there as well. It's going to be amazing, and also watch the video on the screen. See you then. Bye bye.